Hi, everybody. This is Ken Wilson. Once upon a time, I broadcast blues hockey. I always listen to Let's Go Blues Radio. It's everything you'll want as a blues fan. Oh, baby.
Stop doing those diet or workout fads to lose weight. Use the tried and true approach from Rockin' That Ideal Life that helps you find balance while enjoying food in moderation and nourishing your body. Try the Lean 30 program at rockinthatIdealLife.com and let today be your last first day of your weight loss journey.
When buying or selling your home, you need to feel protected. Realtor Mike Burgoyne not only looks out for your interests, but as a St. Louis area police officer will make sure you feel safe and well-informed with every decision. Email Mike at strikewithmike.com and start the process today. That's Mike at strikewithmike.com.
Get ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
Let's have a Donnybrook.
Eric Brewer was so bad.
Are we like Ogle Corp? Are we suspended?
I reciprocated the dickness.
Selfish hockey.
That's right, selfish hockey.
What did I tell you about stick tape?
You don't need it!
No doubt about it, eh? You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey fan podcast. Take it away, boys.
Welcome to episode 18 of season 13. This is episode number 449, all-time, of the often imitated, never duplicated. My buddy told me this is just a microdose of mushrooms, and he was lying. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Special thanks to our sponsors, Dustin from rockinthatidlife.com and realtor Mike Burgoyne, who you can email at mike@strikewithmike.com. For proudly sponsoring the show. Please check them out. Can't emphasize that enough. Please check out our sponsors. Also, don't forget to check out our t-shirt shop at letsgoblues.com for some well-designed and fairly priced blues-themed t-shirts. It's Thursday, February 8th, and we're streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, your mom's radio, wherever you get live video casts.
Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, sure. We're on there, too. To interact with the show on social media, our handle on all social channels is at LGB Radio. Just search for us and you'll find us. And if you haven't already done so, please like, follow, subscribe, ring the bell, buy a t-shirt from our shop, listen to us while you're on shrooms, or do whatever you can do to help us out. I'm your host, Jeff Ponder, and I'm joined by Kurt Price and Bill Day. Producer Austin is, of course, on shrooms. The agenda for tonight includes Robert Thomas in his first NHL All-Star game, the Blues participating in the 2025 Winter Classic, a new segment starring Bill Day, all of that and more on this wackadoo episode of Let's Go Blues Radio. Gentlemen, good to see you both. Most importantly, welcome back, Bill Day.
Thank you. Sorry I had to miss the last couple of weeks, but got under the weather and got busy. So needed a little break from the show, unfortunately. But glad to be back and looking forward to this new segment tonight.
Yes, I told you guys before the show, I'm probably more excited for this segment than I should be. Like, no offense to you, Bill. You know, it's going to be cool to see, but for me, I'm like, it's just cool because it's like Bill's going to fucking have the floor and Kurt and I literally just have to turn our microphones off and shut up.
That's no fun.
I will believe it
for you
when it happens.
I just put out on Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Shared the link to our show. I do believe that this is the first St. Louis Blues podcast has been shared on Blue Sky.
How about that?
Pretty sure.
Add that to our record books. We don't have any records.
There is like no Blues hockey content out there. There's like 2 St. Louis Blues accounts that haven't posted anything yet. So it's we're treading into uncharted waters with this show on Blue
Skies.
Uncharted skies, right?
There you go.
Boldly going where no Blues podcast has gone before.
I'm yet to check out Blue Sky. You've said good things about it. I mean, I'll probably check it out this weekend.
It's Twitter with less people. There's a lot of people on there, but I mean, I'm not selling it very well here, but there's no really any Blues hockey content. But that that could change. Go on Blue Sky, create some accounts, and create your account, and
I'll tell you
it's got to start somewhere.
What somebody told me on Threads when I made a comment about man, I don't post about the Blues over here because there's not a lot of Blues people on here, and somebody said, "Bring them over, Jeff. You be the front runner." So I'll tell you the same thing about Blue Sky, Kurt. Be the front runner for Blues on Blue Sky.
I'm on there.
And for all you indie minded folks that you knew Arcade Fire before they were anybody, you saw them play at the little hole in the wall club. This is your chance on Blue Sky. You can be there before everybody else.
It is now open to the public. So it was before it was invite only, but I think a couple days ago they opened it up to the
Spotify
public.
Business model.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. They had to get content out there before they opened up the public, and if they did that, then the public joins. Oh, there's nothing out here, and then they leave. So they got to have a small community, just populate the content, and then bring everyone else in.
It is the internet equivalent of a soft launch for a restaurant.
I suppose so. It was a long, soft launch too.
Yeah,
might have been a year long.
Yep.
I do believe Blue Sky is being run by the former Twitter owner, I believe, or he has something to do with it.
So I think he invests in it. I'm not sure if he's
I don't know
that created it.
I agree. But he is involved with it somehow.
Yeah, which is good because the current Twitter owner sucks.
Yeah. Taking away TweetDeck just pissed me the hell off.
Yeah. Oh, it's back. It's called X Pro now.
It never really went away, but you got to pay for it.
Yeah, now it's pay.
Yeah, which sucks. I'm like, no, come on. Everything's pay. And
it's like $18 a month. It's not cheap.
It's a social media, Instagram, Facebook. It's like when it's user driven content, that is what you're paying. You are creating the content. Yeah. That is what drives the entire platform is user driven content. So why should users have to pay to join this platform when they're the ones providing the content that makes the whole thing work? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I'm with you. Well,
they should be paying us.
There you go. Well, yeah. Why aren't we getting paid by X? We use it all the time.
We
get engagement.
It's Twitter.
Yeah.
I feel like calling it X just makes you fall in line somehow.
Well, if you go to x.com, it just redirects you to Twitter.
Yeah, Twitter is the URL it gives you, which is kind of funny.
So weird. Should it be the other way around?
Yeah, you would think.
Fucking Jesus.
Fucking horse shit.
Elon Musk. Yep. All right. Official beers of episode number 449. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. Kurt's at CPrice12. Myself, Jeff Ponner, we found at JPonner94. Bill is at Billy Blue Note 33. We will start with Mr. Price.
Tonight, I'm enjoying, I've had this on the show before, the marshmallow and chocolate milk stout from Four Hands. It's the Charleston Chew Candy Bar Stout variety. So that is, this is my second Charleston Chew Four Hands milk stout. And it's quite good. It was either this one or the Almond Joy variety. So I decided to go Charleston Chew since that's a candy bar from my past that I used to buy often as a kid. Love Charleston Chews. Good candy bar.
You
don't like it? Oh, that's good.
They're okay. I mean, I won't turn them down. I feel the same way about them that I feel about Milky Way. I like Milky Way. They're good. Oh, we're not going to talk about Taylor Swift tonight. I did catch some shit for that.
Milky Way?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Milky Way or Snickers for you?
I love Snickers. Snickers all the way.
Okay. I mean, they're pretty much the same thing except for nuts.
Which is funny because I don't like nuts in my candy typically, but the crunch
in your mouth.
I do like them in my mouth. The crunch of the Snickers, I think, is what I like.
You're a texture fan. You know what? The only time I really have Milky Ways is my kids' Halloween candy. I might grab a few of those.
That's what I've still been eating.
But I still like it.
Little
I still
miniature
like
ones.
I love me a Milky Way. You know, it's caramel, it's nougat, it's chocolate. What's not to like?
Frozen Milky Way. It is the way to go. That is what I was having. That's why my dog was
licking
the microphone.
I'll tell you what,
getting into the show.
I'll tell you what though, 100 gram bars. Ooh.
Oh yeah.
Those are crack.
yeah.
Those are crack.
Those
man.
are underrated.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
One of the, probably for me, easily top 3 candy bar might be my favorite.
For sure.
Really good.
Me too.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
our little self-serve grab and go shop at work has those always. And yeah, when I'm pushing a late shift, I will go down there, and that helps me get through.
You a Kit Kat or a Twix guy?
I'm going Reese's one, then I go 100 grand, then Snickers. Those are my 3.
Okay.
So
I gotta put Kit Kats up there, man.
Kit Kats are good.
Man.
Yeah, Kit Kats get old fast for me.
Tell you what, they got different flavors. Did you have the marshmallow one they had on over Halloween?
Yeah,
those were good. Those were quite good.
Like
Oh, really?
Some of them get too gimmicky. Like I had the churro one, and I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be great." No, it was.
They have a dark chocolate. They have a top half dark chocolate, bottom half mint, or vice versa. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
if you like mint.
Yeah, no. My real quick, my top 3 candy bars are the Milky Way the Reese's Fast Break. That's number 1.
Those are good.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Yeah. Then I think Twix, then Milky Way. Frozen though, must be frozen.
The frozen Milky Ways are good. Have you ever actually had the ice cream bar? That's the Milky Way.
Yes,
so good.
So good. Have you ever had a deep fried Mars bar, or in this country, Milky Way? So damn good.
Mars bars, they're so good.
And I do believe Sneaky's in Edwardsville has something on deep fried Snickers or something on the menu, and that's what we're getting for dinner tomorrow night. So
Baked Beaver said, "Y'all ever had a Zero Bar?" Zero Bar is one of my favorites too, and Zero Bar is in my top 3. So for me, it's probably 100 grand.
I've never had a Zero Bar.
Really, it's a white chocolate, almond nougat, and caramel. And
interesting.
Yeah, it's good. Oh God, and white. Did I say white chocolate? White chocolate on the outside.
Yes.
God, white. Zero Bar. No particular order. Zero Bar, 100 grand, and what am I going to say? Put the third one there. It's not Snickers. It's not Milky Way. It's got to be Reese's.
Yeah, Reese's all the way.
Yep. Not Reese's. Reese's.
Somehow we got away from beer and got into this conversation. Bill, you want to jump into what's your beer?
Sure. Nothing but quick asides for us. Quick asides that go 15 minutes.
Right.
I'm continuing my streak. I've had this will be the third or fourth in a row for me. Surly Darkness variants. So Russian Imperial Stout variant. This is the 2023 Cold Smoked Cherry variant. And nice. It is quite tasty. And I'll be able to keep this going at least 2 more shows because I found more. So I'm excited. The Cocoa Nitro is one that I just picked up. I think that'll be next week. But the last one that I'm really looking forward to is called Lumberjack Breakfast. It's maple bacon.
Pancakes, right?
Yeah, maple bacon.
Good.
So
the your can, Bill, with Darkness reminded me of the event that Four Hands has every year. The Slipping in the Darkness. Is that what it's called? Slip in the Darkness. Their stout festival.
Yeah.
That they have every year because they have a number of good stouts, and they have a Slip in the Darkness festival, I believe it's called.
We should really try to work with a brewery locally and do a live show at one of their events like that. I think that'd be fucking cool.
Get a little table.
For sure.
That'd be great.
Yeah, we should do something like that. I just have people bringing us beer. That would be incredible.
We could call Austin Beer Wench for the night.
Yeah, there you go.
Whatchamacallit? That's a good candy bar.
Oh,
that is also very underrated.
Oh, what's the Toblerone? I actually like Toblerone.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah,
that's a good one.
M&M's. That's not a candy bar though.
No.
That's like a different like M&M's, Reese's Pieces.
It's a different genre.
It's candy, but it's not. It's candy, not candy.
Bite size.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
My beer tonight is the Citywide from Four Hands American Pale Ale. Awesome St. Louis flag there, and just a good sipping beer, which I needed. I was going to get a stout, but As I told Kurt, for dinner tonight, we went to El Maguey and got myself a jumbo, what the hell?
Marg,
thank you, margarita. And I was like, man, and plus I ate a bunch of food there, as you do when you go to a Mexican restaurant. So I'm like, I need to drink light tonight.
I was never really a margarita fan until I had them before. For some reason, wasn't a fan until recent, not that long ago. Amy kind of turned me on to margaritas again. I was like, oh, these are really, really good. And I don't know what I was thinking before, what happened, why I didn't like them before, but now I do. So margaritas get quite good.
They are fantastic.
For those of you that don't know, the margarita. If a margarita would like to sponsor Let's Go Blues Radio.
Let's hope. All right, well, let's get into it, guys. The first big news of the night that we'll discuss is something that was officially announced earlier this week. The Blackhawks will host the Blues for the 2025 Winter Classic at Wrigley Field. So the game will be televised exclusively on TNT in the United States and on Sportsnet and TVA Sports in Canada. So Ken Morris, make sure you know that. This will mark the 16th NHL Winter Classic and 42nd NHL regular season outdoor game. St. Louis is 2-0 in outdoor games after collecting wins in the 2017 Winter Classic against the Blackhawks at Busch Stadium and again at the 2022 Winter Classic against the Minnesota Wild at Target Field. First thing on the agenda here that I wanted to ask you guys, when I saw this, we have no trips planned this year. I don't know if we're going to do anything this year. So I thought this is perfect. End of the year. I think I am really going to try to make this happen. I think I'll be going up to Chicago for the Winter Classic.
Get your hotel now.
Yep.
You can always cancel that.
Yep.
Get that because that'll go quick if it's not already.
Yes, it will.
So,
well, the thing about Chicago though is so many hotels,
right? But I mean, the good your
like
good
if you want stumbling distance to Wrigley and not afraid to take the L and just stay, there are plenty of great hotels down in the Loop. Just take the L out to Wrigleyville. But yeah.
So about you guys, do you have any interest in going?
So I told Julie I was not going to even really think about it. So we'll see as the date gets closer. But I figure with the last two the Blues were in, cost was prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
And this is going to be a smaller venue than both of the other places. So it's this would be the one I want to go to because it is a smaller venue and better sight lines and all that. But yeah, I just the cost.
Yeah. I mean, Chicago's not far away from St. Louis from us, so it's like it would almost be. I mean, you could go up there and maybe not pay out the ass to actually go to the game, and just like hang out at the sports bars right or in Wrigleyville. You could hang out there and just be in the environment. That might be kind of cool.
Right. That might be something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and you could watch the game, at the be amongst, the enemy. And plenty of Blues fans, I'm sure. So,
there will be.
Yeah. So because you're going to spend what, over $1,000 a ticket at least?
Probably.
So I mean, you can save a couple grand, and I don't know. It's just a thought. If you don't want to spend out the ass to go to the game, go and be up in the environment and just hang out around the stadium and the bars and stuff. Be kind of cool.
I would say Wrigleyville, as much as I hate the Cubs, Wrigleyville is a cool place to visit. Pretty much there's housing, hotels everywhere right there in Wrigleyville. So you can walk around and there's people on the streets. They got the streets closed around they will have the streets closed when the event's going.
You know what, though?
So it'll be cool.
Chicago is like over outdoor games, though. They are. You talk with almost any Chicago fan, unlike Blues fans, like this is our third Winter Classic and third outdoor game. So it's like, this is the third time. So, but we're all like, I think we're all in agreement that, hey, this is cool. I like this. Chicago, I mean, probably because they can't win them. They're 0-4
every
time. And it's like they're in them so much, and it's like, So I think they're just done with being in the outdoor games. And maybe the demand for tickets won't be crazy.
It'll still be
I know
crazy.
it's going to, I understand, and the price is going to be driven up by demand. I get it. But, I mean, it's not like it won't be like it was in Minnesota last year.
No.
So,
no.
No.
Justin Scott in the chat says, sorry, Bill, before I read this, did you have something to add to that?
No, I'm good.
Nope.
I get my whole segment later.
Yes, that's true. Justin Scott, the Facebook chat, says, hey, boys, I saw a lot of backlash for Chicago getting another Winter Classic. I think it's stupid, too. Even the Blues are in it, and I think it's lame that Chicago getting another one is garbage. That's been a sentiment across the league, and we say all the time, and I know, Kurt, you have thoughts on this, too, but it does seem like it is always the same teams, and I will say for our benefit, to be kind of selfish, it is nice to see the Blues be one of those teams now that are kind of getting reused. But at the same time, it is like, come on, this is a 32-team league. Like, why are we not seeing more of these teams get their chance?
You had to know this was coming because the NHL cannot put Bedard on TV enough. You saw it during the skills competition, but he wasn't even playing in it because of the injury, and he was out there dishing passes, and they had to get him on interviews in the locker room before the game, and he is, and they put him on screen so much, they want to talk to him so much, and he has the personality of a dish towel. He is not interesting. He's really, maybe it'll get better with time. He's a young kid, but they're just throwing him out there on TV so much, and he is boring AF. It's insane.
Yeah, can you imagine if he's injured for this?
Oh, but you knew it was coming.
They'll postpone the game.
Yeah,
they'll be like, bad weather in Chicago until February 12th.
You knew it was coming. They instead of letting him just become this superstar organically, they are force feeding you Bedard every chance they get, and they're trying to put the cart before the horse. Just let him become a superstar on his own, and then it'll happen. But they're just like pumping him, like, I'm sure you guys saw it. All these interviews, they're talking to him. What is it like? You're just, the face of the NHL, the future of this franchise, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, Jesus Christ, slow down. Let the kid actually have a successful season. He's having a good season for a rookie, but it's like, let him actually develop into this player you're anointing him as before you give him this label. It's insane.
Right. And the kid's got a broken jaw, and you roll him out at the All-Star game and put him like I thought it was pretty ridiculous and felt like it was forced. The open to the skills competition, when they open it up and it's McKinnon, Crosby, McDavid, and Bedard standing there, and like Bedard's the only one not talking.
Yeah,
it just I thought that was.
Did you hear
that was terrible hockey?
Did you hear
the television? The
interview before the skills competition? They asked Bedard in the locker room. He was standing next to, I think it was Matthews, and maybe I forgot who else was there.
Yeah, that's who it was. McDavid wasn't there. It was Matthews.
Okay, and they said, they asked him. I said, "What do you think of the skills drills in this season?" And he's like, "I don't know. I'm not in it." I'm like, great answer, dish towel. It's like, come on.
He's your typical Canadian hockey player. He doesn't say anything that's going to get him in trouble.
Well, he could have. He didn't say anything. It's like, what skills they're going to be. What give your opinion on them? I don't know. He just didn't say anything. It's kind of something about this kid is off to me as far as like his like the NHL wants him to have this dynamic personality and to be this.
Right, and he doesn't have it, and he has zero interest in developing it.
Right. Well,
he's here for the hockey, as he should be.
If you want him to have a dynamic personality, get him out of the NHL and have him play a different sport, because it seems like the NHL grooms its players to not have those personalities.
It's funny,
and the guys that do are the ones that are chastised.
You know what's funny though is that hockey players traditionally have the best personalities of any of the sports.
Agreed.
Leagues. And
look at us.
When you get a guy like Bedard, who is this supposed to be this megastar, and he's just droll and boring. It's like, oh, ouch, flop.
Yep. So a couple notes that I actually wanted to. What do we got here?
Justin Scott, Connor Bedard has the personality of a white crayon.
Yeah,
that's
I agree.
Brilliant.
Comment of the show there.
That's brilliant.
Good work there, Justin. A couple comments I wanted to get to, and I will say it's a page that I am not a fan of. Kurt, I know you aren't either. Bill, I'm going to assume you aren't either. Blues Views. They're on Twitter and Facebook. I did appreciate the research, though. Don't really like the takes on that page, but I did appreciate the research they put into some of this stuff. A couple things that they found. Yeah, I agree. The Blues, Capitals, and Rangers are the only undefeated teams with multiple wins in Winter Classic history. All are 2-0. With a 2025 victory, St. Louis will become the first 3-0 team. St. Louis has the best goal differential in Winter Classic history with a +5. Despite only playing twice, the Blues have scored the most goals in the Winter Classic, which is 10.
That's surprising to me.
The Bruins and Blackhawks have each scored only 9 goals in 4 appearances. 2025 will mark the first rematch of an old Winter Classic. Chicago was 0-4 in 4 appearances, including the 2017 loss to St. Louis at Busch Stadium. So, again, thank you, Blues Views. Give us stuff like that, and I will like you. Don't like your takes otherwise.
I mean, yeah. Well, when he's rattling off stats, it's fine. Yeah. But when they give the takes on the team and stuff, it's like that's when they go into like weird, like awful take mode. So no, but yeah, this was a very nice, informative tweet. Good on you, Blues Views. That was nice. Stick with this format. It's good for you.
Yeah. Yep. Kurt, I know you have some thoughts on, and I think, again, we can all echo. We actually agree, even though we love seeing the Blues getting some love here, as they have the last couple of years. I see you have some thoughts on just not enough teams getting.
Well, I mean, Arizona, Columbus, and Florida have never played in an outdoor game. And I kind of understand why, but I at the same time, I feel really bad for the fans of those franchises. Remember before we had a Winter Classic, an outdoor game at all, we were just like, and Chicago was getting in every other year. It's like, come on already. Let's, we won it so bad.
Pittsburgh.
Boston, Pittsburgh. Yeah, they're all in multiple times. But then, and I'm dying. We're dying to play in a Winter Classic or not, at least an outdoor game. And then finally it happens. It's like, oh, thank God. It was so cool. And the fans for, Coyote fans, Blue Jackets fans, and Panthers fans, they've never seen their team play in an outdoor game. And it really speaks volumes for what the NHL thinks of those markets. Because if, it was a good hockey market, they'd get great viewership and it'd be a good Winter Classic, they'd have played in one. But honestly, okay, while I feel bad for their fans, let's look at it. Okay, Arizona. Does anyone really care about the Coyotes? I mean, outside of Arizona, they're not. Nobody. No.
What you're telling me you wouldn't be, because they could build intrigue around a Coyotes Winnipeg Jets outdoor game. Being the former Jets, maybe Arizona even goes with a Jets jersey. I think that would be awesome.
I don't think people care too much about that, though.
Yeah,
I mean, it's an interesting. I like the way you think, but I don't think people outside Arizona and Winnipeg get behind that much. You know what I mean? Columbus.
If they're the away team, though, I think that could be cool.
Columbus, same thing. It's like, does anybody really? And they're not very good either. Neither of those franchises are ever really any good.
Well, I think Florida's disadvantage is everybody wants to go to Miami, and they're not going to have an outdoor game in Miami.
Here's the deal, though.
Yeah, that's the thing. Take a game off the calendar for that.
If they could play an outdoor game in Miami on the beach, wouldn't that be cool? I mean, just totally abandon the whole snow atmosphere, even pumping in fake snow when there's none on the ground. But to play a game on the beach, build the rink on the beach and play it.
Ocean is the backdrop.
And if they could have the ice be in good shape and the sun wouldn't be a factor, a lot of ifs there. But that'd be awesome.
You'd probably have to do it at night.
Oh,
yes. Oh, yeah.
100% for sure.
Yeah,
like,
at night,
look at what happened with the Blackhawks at Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That was the biggest disaster. Almost canceled all
that was just
future games.
But that was just lack of thinking, because the only issues on the ice were the dark graphic areas. And that was like, the dark graphics were attracting the rays of the heat, and it was just making the ice soft in those areas. All they had to do was make those graphics like an ice blue color, a light blue color, instead of like a dark. That was dumb. That was stupid.
Here we go. How about this? How about we put everyone on rollerblades and they play Bro Beach hockey?
That was
ramps behind the net. Yeah, with a ball. Put a ball. Why not?
That was. Oh, man.
You have to get. I'm going to throw a name out here. You got to get Tiffany Richardson back out of a bikini to call the game.
That was for a very short period of time. That was pretty cool. That was fun to watch.
It was entertaining.
It would have gotten old. It would have gotten old after a while, but it was neat for a short time.
It was like
Steve Chelios was the GM.
Yeah, it was like the most 90s thing imaginable.
It was.
Justin Scott says,
"Yeah, with you, Justin Scott."
The Blues have so far knocked the jerseys out of the park, and there have been some talk. And if you've seen some people what jerseys they want, have you seen this?
Mm-hmm.
They want the Checkits era third jersey, the circle logo.
No,
and I was like,
as a white jersey,
as a white. They've suggested a white version of that, and I'm like, no,
that'll never happen.
No.
Not under Tom Stillman.
The Stillman doesn't.
It's not going to happen.
Well, first of all, it's. I think there are much better choice, regardless of how Stillman feels about the Checkits era stuff. There are just more iconic Blues jerseys to use than that one. I don't know.
Early 90s.
Late 80s.
Late 80s, early 90s. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the Hall & Oates era jerseys were those banged. And those deserve something. Instead of just trotting out those stupid clown jerseys year after year.
We haven't seen anything like that since they went away.
No,
I would love to see something.
They haven't brought back any variation of that at all.
And the thing that I hate too, and I say this probably more than I should, why don't we ever see like blue versus red or green versus yellow? In terms of it's always white versus. Give me a Winter Classic with a blue jersey and a red jersey. I think that would be incredible.
That'd probably be better for presentation.
100%. It would look awesome.
So hold on.
I do it in my NHL games all the time, and it looks fucking cool.
So Justin Scott here says that a Minnesota podcast talked about how the Blues suck, so we shouldn't be in one. And Justin Scott says, so I had to give them a friendly reminder that they sucked in the Winter Classic a few years ago. Yeah, the Blues beat Minnesota. I'd like to know who this was because, first of all, the Blues beat Minnesota in the last Winter Classic the Wild were in. Currently, the Blues are 5 points ahead of the Wild in the standings. So I don't think a Wild podcast should be. We're in a playoff spot right now. I don't think what the fuck. I mean, while the Blues aren't legit cup contenders by any means right now, but we're in a playoff spot. I mean, to say we suck is quite a weird take.
I used to really appreciate Wild fans, but mostly after the thing that happened last year with Binnington and Fleury, I really realized there's a lot of dumb shit Wild fans.
There's a lot of dumb shit fans for every fan base. But I love it when they come out of the woodwork.
Including
it's so
Blues
funny.
fans.
Yes, agreed. Well, the Kadri situation kind of showed that. It was a handful of Blues fans, which, no one condones that bullshit.
Puck Guy, that's a great point. I remember that. He says Toronto versus Detroit did blue versus red in 2014. That looked awesome. That was the one at the Big House.
Yep.
I think that'd be great.
Bring it back.
I read that Columbus, one of the things working against Columbus getting an outdoor game is that they would ideally they want to play in whatever the name of the Ohio State stadium is. The
Ohio Stadium.
The huge
stadium.
Ohio State University Stadium.
The Ohio Stadium.
But apparently that they don't. That venue wouldn't allow it. They wouldn't let them host the game there because they don't want. They don't want that there. They wouldn't allow it to happen. So that takes away a huge venue for attendance that they would probably use. So That's one of the things working against Columbus, apparently.
I think that would be incredible. That would be a great place to see a game.
Yeah, that and the fact that, really, again, Columbus is not going to draw a lot of people to watch that game at all. It's just, it's Columbus.
But hell, put the Red Wings there, and you get the Michigan versus Ohio college rivalry will fill that building to watch an NHL.
Yeah, you could even have the jerseys kind of mirror that.
Yeah, you could. Oh, yeah, you could bill it as the underlying story could be the college rivalry spilling over into the NHL. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah,
that's an interesting angle. I like that. I would, and not that it intrigues me a whole lot because I'm not a huge Michigan Ohio State college fan, but I can see where that would be appealing to a lot of people. Yeah.
Well, we've got plenty more to talk about, folks. And don't worry, we'll be talking about Winter Classic until the time comes. So I'm sure in upcoming shows, we will have plenty on the Winter Classic in 2025. We are going to take a break here, but when we get back, we'll talk about the Blues calling up a defenseman that this podcast at least thinks should have been up all year. We'll also talk about a new segment as well as the NHL returning to the Olympics. All that and more on the rest of this show. You're listening to Jeff, Kurt, and Bill on Let's Go Blues Radio.
We'll return after these messages.
We've all tried a diet or workout fad at one time or another, but it always ends the same, right? We either lose the weight and then get back to our routine, but then put the weight right back on, or it just simply never takes hold. It's time to move into a habit-based program that focuses on organization and simplicity. Rock and That Idea Life's Lean 30 lays it all out for you with the correct food to eat, how to meal prep, and even sprinkles in plenty of healthy recipes. With Lean 30, you'll get the full ID Life arsenal, including energy for that needed kick, a tasty Nourish shake for your needed fiber intake, Slim Plus to help control your cravings and provide a metabolic boost. Lean capsules help bust those sugar cravings, and IED Nutrition gives you the added punch you need that takes the guesswork out of what supplements to take. Join the many who are seeing success and make this your last first day on a new program. Visit rockandthatidealife.com to get started, and remember to email Dustin at rockandthatidealife@gmail.com for an extra 10% off exclusively for Let's Go Blues radio listeners. Start your transformation to the confident, vibrant person you've always wanted to be with rockandthatidealife.com.
St. Louis hockey fans know how it takes a reliable captain and a team of hard workers to achieve major goals. As a police officer and a hockey player, realtor Mike Burgoyne would wear the C in any situation. As a leader in the home buying or selling process, Mike has surrounded himself with a team of trustworthy inspectors, lenders, and escrow officers that work together more cohesively than Hall & Oates. And as a member of many teams in his life, Mike knows the service our first responders, veterans, nurses, teachers, and yes, even you Let's Go Blues Radio listeners provide the community, so he offers special rates to those individuals. Find the value in Mike's leadership and teamwork today by emailing him at mike@strikewithmike.com or calling 314-753-4060. He'll work closely with you and only show you the homes that match your goals. That email again is mike@strikewithmike.com or call him at 314-753-4060 and succeed with your new teammate today.
And now, back to Let's Go Blues Radio, the longest running St. Louis Blues podcast with Price, Ponder, and Day.
Well, we've got some Blues news that we'll talk about here to open up. First of all, this isn't in the notes, fellas. This came across a little bit later.
Came across the wire
today. It did. Justin Falk was officially placed on injury reserve by the Blues. They announced he has a lower body injury, and I think we all saw when he came back from his last injury, we all questioned, my God, he does not look like the same player. Mm-hmm. But I have to assume, I don't see it in the press release here, and they usually say it. This has got to be a retroactive, right? Because he's been out since, end of January? So it's got to be a retroactive too, so he could come back sooner possibly. But
yeah.
Maybe they just assume he'll be out a while, so they don't have to do retroactive.
Yeah, I think they can always go back and make it retroactive. So
yeah. So Justin Falk was officially placed on IR. So because of this, the Blues have recalled Calle Rosen from the Springfield Thunderbirds. Jeremy Rutherford earlier today, friend of the show. Yeah, we
thought he was dead.
Blues recalled Calle Rosen from the Thunderbirds. Likely means one of the injured defensemen, Falk or Perunovic, aren't ready to go. Perunovic was in a boot before the break. Team is in the ice at 2, so won't be known then. Yes, so that's clearly when Falk was announced to be on injury reserve. We don't know anything about Perunovic yet. At least I haven't seen anything. But Calle Rosen is 30 years old. He's dressed in 44 games for the Thunderbirds this season, having a good offensive year, as I think we all would have expected in the AHL for him. He's posted 25 points, 2 goals, and 23 assists in 10 penalty minutes. His 23 assists rank second with Springfield. He's appeared in NHL career-high 49 games with the Blues last season, recorded 18 points, including 8 goals, and a team-leading plus 19. Your team leader in plus-minus has been in the AHL to open this season. Still baffles me that this guy has not been up with the club all year.
Arguably the best defenseman we had last season. Didn't make the team out of camp.
I think he was.
Yeah. And is just now getting a look. So I was really disappointed that Tucker was on the roster coming out of camp instead of Rosen.
Well, you knew because Berube, for some reason, was in love with Tyler Tucker. Played him a lot at the end of the last season, started him a bunch this year. We kept that. Remember, we were asking, why are we seeing Tucker over Perunovic? I didn't get it. I thought that, and it has changed. They've seen that Perunovic is the much better defenseman. But I think now we're going to see Calle Rosen is the better defenseman over Tucker.
Perunovic it was never a question that Perunovic was a better defenseman. He is the more skilled player.
It was all about size for Berube with Tucker.
Yeah,
and that's why I wasn't terribly upset when Berube was shown the door. Like that just at some point you have to evolve and embrace that. All the successful NHL teams these days have smaller, fast skating defensemen, and it's how the game is right now.
Well, when you err on the side of skill, you take if it's this player or that player for a position, if you go with the more skilled guy, you're going to win more times than not. As far as like, you know what I mean? This guy's bigger. This guy is tougher. No, go with the guy that has more skill.
If this was 25 years ago, I think that debate is valid. What would you rather have, size or skill? Size, you can body guys out of the net. You can beat the shit out of them and not get a penalty.
Right.
That's not the case anymore. It's all about skill and speed and being able to move the puck. Tucker is fine, but Perunovic is good at doing all those things.
Yeah. Yep. Tyler Tucker is the Murray Baron of this team.
The Garth Butcher.
Excuse me. You almost made me spit up my beer. I did not expect a Murray Baron.
Just as long as he doesn't, not block an Irishman slap shot from the blue line. That'd be great.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Jump out of the way. Yep. No, I'm excited. I'm happy to see Rosen get his chance. Probably, and we talk about how this defense has been better this year. Yeah. Probably the one defenseman that actually played well in a Van Ryn system. So we'll see how he does under the new Mike Weber system.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, because he actually played, he wasn't amazing last year, but he was
solid.
He was noticeably good compared to how the rest of the defense was. So,
well, I think he was competent, right? And that the rest of the defense really wasn't last year. And he brought it game in and game out, always seemed to be on the right side of the puck. And if he can figure out how to do that in the new system, no reason to expect that, that he'll stay up the rest of this year.
And he got involved defensively too last season, which was great to see. You get points from your defenseman. It's a huge plus, especially when your forwards and your offense has, for some reason, gone into long slumps this season as far as shots on net, goals scored. They have to be opportunistic in their chances to put up 3 goals in a game. They have to get 3 goals on 18 shots. So it's you can't rely on that. And we talked about that last week. Hockman's article about that wasn't really a sustainable model.
Right.
So I agree to some degree. So it's you do want to be pressuring more offensively because that's you're not going to keep scoring at that rate.
I have a friend on my ice hockey team from Toronto, and it was funny. I guess within about a week and a half, the Maple Leafs last year played the Hurricanes, the Golden Knights, and the Blues. And he said against the Hurricanes, Frederik Andersen shut him out. And then against the Golden Knights, Phil Kessel scored 2 goals. And then against the Blues, Calle Rosen scored the game-winning goal. And he was just like, can you have a better trifecta of players that are from Toronto, like from the Maple Leafs, to just come back and bite us in the ass? He's like, you kind of expect Anderson, you kind of expect Kessel, but Calle fucking Rosen? I was like, yeah, that kind of sucks, man. I'm sorry.
If you follow Calle Rosen last season, he had a good year. So,
Mm-hmm. Guys, I'm very excited. Here we go. This is it. Everybody, tune up the audio. Listen up. Here we go. We are going to have our new segment. It is the Bill Days Save of the Week. That graphic compliment to Kurt Price. That is beautiful stuff. For those of you on the podcast, you are missing out. So we will move into our Save of the Week for Bill Day. Bill, here we go. Kurt, turn off your mic. We're going to let Bill handle all of this. This is from, I forgot, I should have looked at that first.
Right.
Hang on. That is from Joel Hofer against Philip Deneau at 12:15 of the third period against LA in their second to last game before the All-Star break. Bill, take it away.
We really should have rehearsed this. So, so we'll watch this for the first time through, so everybody can get their bearings with how this play goes down. So, really, for me on this play, it starts with Hofer being aware of what's going on in front of him, and to the right of him, which John Kelly wasn't. Kevin Hayes got high stick by Kevin Fiala down in the corner. Parayko makes a pass up the boards to Walker. Moore pressures him, makes the turnover. And Walker, I thought, did a great job of not giving an odd man rush, going back the other way, forces Deneau to make the dish off to Fiala on the outside. Fiala winds up with a one-timer. There's the one-timer. Rebound comes off of Parayko's skate right to Deneau. Hofer really, in I think probably one of the things that we'll see as a theme with this segment, if I get my way with it at least, is Hofer makes a spectacular save, making up for overplaying. That typically happens, right? The fantastic saves are usually because you did something wrong prior to that, and I think that's kind of what happened here. Right, Hofer overplayed it. He Jake Allen's it, and is out of position. but what really, what is so fundamentally good about right here, if you watch the push with the left skate, in my day, back when I played, coming up through the local minor hockey system, goalie skates were very, very different than player skates. Very, very dull blades, and they were flats, right? We wanted to be flat as possible. The skates today are completely different, right? They are much more like player skates, much sharper. And you see this on this play. Hofer is able to stop his slide and push himself back across, and makes a tremendous push right there. Right there's the push. Allows himself to get back to the middle of the net and cover as much net as possible. Thankfully, Deneau rushed the shot and put it back across the grain. He had a ton of room on the right side, but Hofer did what he needed to do to get back into position here and just highlight real save. Again, like I said, I think we'll see this a lot with this segment. Goaltending, like the highlight reel saves, you're usually making up for a mistake you made. And that was the case here. Great job by Joel Hofer. Great example of modern goaltending. So far evolved from when I played. And, it's kind of keeping me from really wanting to jump back in because, man, my groin hurts watching that push.
What's funny is that the coverage in front of the net was actually quite good.
No, the way that the team played, and Walker, right? Walker makes the turnover, but he doesn't allow the odd man break with Hayes down in the corner, right? And Hayes is bleeding, hands to his face, and it just really great all-around coverage. Parayko, unfortunately, kind of put it on a tee for Deneau with the puck coming off his skate, not intentional. Everything's bang there, but
at least his positioning was good.
Right.
No. He's right there with him on him.
Yeah.
So.
The player most out of position in this whole thing was Joel Hofer when he made that initial save, kicking off to make the one-timer save.
And if Parayko is not positioned where he is, then maybe that shot's in a different spot on net too. So
yeah, absolutely. He caused Deneau to have to rush that shot.
Yeah, right, exactly.
But
that would have been, if he would have scored on that would have been one of those plays where I think all three of us would have been like, that's just a great positioning by Deneau. No one to really blame there.
Right. And right. And the context for this goal too, right? The game is tied at this point. Deneau had tied it late in the second with a great shot off the post. This is, 7:45 left in the third. And, he's making the save, allows them to get this game to overtime and win it. And just really an exceptional game-changing save by Hofer there.
I feel this much smarter with goaltending now. Thank you,
dude. Think about this. We do this every single week. By the end of the season, we'll be like this much smarter, Kurt. Like that much. Yeah. I mean, that's awesome.
Which is like a zillion times smarter than a portion of the fan base that likes to yell about goaltending right online.
I think in terms of the fan base, Bill's obviously top tier up there. But like, in terms of the fan base, Kurt, you and I, we're probably already like top 2%.
Yeah. It's because we pay attention and we kind of we played and we know stuff, and it's just I always find it funny when like I've always said the goal, and it's a great reason to have this segment to break down by Bill, who knows like you said more than most. It's like there's a lot of people that don't know a lot about goaltending out there, so it's evident. Right. So it's time to go to school with Let's Go Blues Radio with Bill and his save of the week.
And I'll say for Bill, as somebody who plays hockey still and having foot problems and just getting back into playing again, I had a situation where I was playing D and I went to slide and I had to stop because the guy kept coming and he decided to circle the net, and I had to literally get up on one foot, stop myself, and then cut back the other way so I could still pick up the other guy in case he slid it in front. That's hard to do. That is so hard. And imagine throwing on 20 pounds of goalie gear and having to do that. I mean, that is not easy. So when you see that, if and again, people who maybe are listening to the podcast didn't watch the video, go back, watch that play, find this video on YouTube, find us on YouTube, and watch Bill's breakdown, and you'll see like he's literally sliding one way, and then in one motion he has to stop and go back the other way. That is very hard to do on ice.
I like the reference to the change in skates from that era to back in the day to now. Yeah.
Right. No, I bought that the modern pair of goalie skates 2 years ago, and I'm afraid to get on them. I have yet to take them out for a spin because they're so much more like player skates. But I mean it is entirely different. Right. There were back in the day, there were so few guys who knew how to sharpen a goalie skate correct. And I was fortunate enough to have Jim Richards in Cahokia played. His son Keith played with us. Sorry,
Keith Richards.
Yeah, Richards.
That Keith Richards.
Wait. I may be conflating a couple names. I'm really old now, so Sean Richards, Keith Phillips was the Phillips were the other goaltending family. Sean Richards and Tim Richards was the guy.
Was it Wilson Phillips?
There are so many names coming out right now.
No, it was Tim Richards was the Zamboni guy. The only guy that I was ever confident sharpening my skates. Amazing.
Richard Richards.
The Zamboni guy.
Reed Richards.
Dick Richards. No, Tim Richards. It was Tim Richards and his son Sean.
Brad Richards.
Yeah, great names that I am butchering from Cahokia hockey history.
If Dick is short for Richard, if your last name is Richards, wouldn't your last name, short for last name, be Dix?
Look at those dicks.
Does it work that way? Go suck a bag of dicks.
Are the dicks coming?
Yeah, the dicks. The good old dicks.
The Richardses? No, it's the Dixes.
Bill, I don't know if you saw that. Ken Morris brings up a good point here. Bill had a groupie asking about him 2 weeks ago. Did you know about that?
I did not.
You had a female listener,
Webster Groves, is that right?
Yeah, from Webster Groves, who was very concerned about you not being on the show.
Very concerned about you.
Asking, I just want to make sure Bill's okay. Are you guys telling me the truth? Is he okay? And we were like, he's fine. He's just not here.
It was revisited 7 or 8 times.
I know a couple of people who live in Webster, but no,
I'm drawing a blank on her name.
So
we thought it was a like kind of a joke, but then it seemed like they were kind of genuinely.
We thought we actually.
I'm all good.
We think this is an AI person. This is fake. And she kept responding like, "No, I'm real. I'm just actually concerned. Like, where is he?" And we're like,
"I will have to go back and watch the show tomorrow night." Then.
Yeah, it was later in the show. It was probably the last half hour or so from 2 weeks ago. So yeah, check that out.
Yeah, so Dick Richards would be Dick Dix.
Richard Richards is Dick Dix.
Dick Richards, or Richard.
Right, let's move on. Bill, Richards. Excellent job, man. That was great. I'm looking forward to more of these. I genuinely, like Kurt said, I like hearing you talk about being a goaltender and what it takes to be a goalie. I've played goalie in inline hockey. I do not have what it takes. So I love hearing stuff like this.
The people like crappy goalie who have what it takes to be an inline hockey goalie are ice hockey goalies are a different breed. Roller hockey goalies are that much more demented.
I don't understand it. I said last week I played inline and my buddy gave up a goal. He made a great save, but then the puck came back across and he went to shift back. But as you know, you can't slide. You have to fucking literally step. And so it went right through his legs. And I looked at him and I go, problem number 2,701, why being an inline goalie sucks.
Well, that's why you spray your pads with Armor All before you get on the inline surface.
Oh my
God. Which was what a goalie did at the local rink here at the Y.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so as a defenseman or as a skater, you go to skate through it and you're like, holy hell, and you're slipping and sliding. It's like, fuck.
Well, the
5,762 not to play in that game.
Yeah. They do have roller fly. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. It's these little plates that you put on the insides of your pads, and they got little rolly balls on them.
Yeah.
So that way you can push, but it's still not the same. It's still not the same as sliding on ice.
No, and that's I could never make the adjustment. I think in my life I had one good game and goal in roller hockey, and
you know what you do.
That was the game where we went to shootout.
Mm-hmm. You were good that game.
At Oakville, and we lost.
Our team let you down. Could not score in the shootout. Yeah, God, that sucked. Yeah,
Kurt, why didn't you just fake a slap shot and go to your backhand?
I was suspended. I was watching from the bench.
I've heard of this game plenty of times.
He was Oglethorpe.
I was suspended.
He's suspended.
Yeah. So, and it was like the worst game to be suspended for because, I mean, God, it sucked. It was playoffs. It wasn't championship. It was
still playoffs.
Whatever.
That sucks.
Yeah, it sucked. But what you needed, Bill, you needed some of those. I guess if you go with leather pads, that's probably a deterrent for inline. Mm-hmm. You need something like, remember Keith's Aeroflex?
Yeah.
The cloth, the fabric.
That
probably slid a lot better.
It's like the ripstop nylon.
Yeah, that probably slid a lot better than leather would on the surface.
I was wearing my the Guy Bear Heat and Heat Light 3s.
Yeah.
That are still hanging in my garage today. And there's
actual Guy Bear's pads, by the way.
Yes,
not just his model. Yeah.
Yes, I think I've shared a picture of those on the show before. But
I have a picture of you wearing them.
Yeah,
it's in inline actually.
Yeah,
on a yellow sport surface.
The ballpark. Well, whatever it was called at that point.
Way to play. It was a bad
way to play.
Last tangent here on this segment. Earlier before the show, when you, and by the way, those on the podcast can't see, Bill has added to his background there. He's got a couple goalie jerseys hanging up. Carey Price, Brian Elliott, and Patrick Waugh. Did you say those are your only goalie jerseys you own?
They are. They are.
Man, how do I have a more obscure goalie jersey than you?
Yeah.
You know what mine is? When my number one obscure, besides the Brodeur Blues jersey, that one's pretty obscure.
Obscure goalie. Blues goalie?
No. You'll never guess it. I'm telling you right now. There's no way.
The guy that played for the Golden Seals.
Byron Defoe.
No, but Bill is onto something. Yes, He was a Golden. It's on my Golden Seals jersey.
Man,
it's a very common name.
Yeah, it's and actually,
Lemieux.
No,
it's a common name.
Well, that is a common name, but that's not who it is.
Actually, this may be related to the if we ever get together for our Christmas gift exchange.
Yeah, that'll happen.
They're sitting upstairs.
This is involved. This is related. So,
really? All right. Well, the name is Gary Smith.
Yes.
Gary Smith.
Yeah.
Oh, that common name, Smith.
Okay. The Cobra.
Yep. Yeah, I got his just because I wanted that awesome, like, what is that? I guess, is it yellow, I guess? Gold. I guess it's gold. The Golden Seals jersey. And I was like, what player am I going to get? And I'm looking through the roster. I'm like, I could get Zach Parise's dad, but then I remember reading stories about this Gary Smith and how, like, he was basically the only good player their first season. And I was like, you know what? I'll get Gary Smith. Sounds good.
All right. Vegas Knights slipped by the Coyotes tonight, 3-2.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
All right. So, big news for the NHL this past weekend. The NHL is going to return to the Olympics. They're also going to host something called the Four Nations Face-Off next in lieu of the All-Star game for next year. We'll get into that in a minute. So it was during a press conference on February 2nd, NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman announced the league had reached an agreement to send its players to both the 2026 and 2030 Olympic Games for the first time since 2014. Russia's standing in the tournament has not yet been decided. The IIHF Council will meet next week to determine whether the country will be eligible to return to the 2025 Men's World Championship. At which point they will issue additional updates. Russia has been banned from IIHF competition since its early 2022 invasion of Ukraine for geopolitical reasons. If deemed eligible for Olympic play in 2026, Russia will qualify automatically based on their current world ranking. One of the driving forces behind the NHL's barring of players from attending the 2018 and 2022 Winter Olympics dealt with uncertainty over insurance and travel costs for players. That's been settled. Those costs, plus other travel-associated costs, will not be fronted by the league. Instead, individual Olympic committees and the IIHF will provide funding for players to travel and stay at the overseas events. For the first time, the Olympic tournament will be played on smaller NHL-sized ice in 2026. The big thing for me coming from all that news is the settlement, I guess, between the travel and the insurance. For those who don't know, the Olympic Committee is one of the most
corrupt organizations
in the world. I don't
think there's any behind FIFA.
Yeah,
behind FIFA. Yeah, like it is ridiculously corrupt. And so for them to actually say, yeah, this money that we've been embezzling for hundreds of years, we'll actually go ahead and send it toward your players since you're allowing them to play. So the fact they actually balked on it surprised the hell out of me. But I'm glad it's happening. I don't know if you guys agree. I think you do. I like NHL players in the Olympics, so this is very cool news for me.
Sure.
Is this like, are we on the verge of making an argument that Gary Bettman's a hero here?
Gotta stop when I take a drink, man.
I mean, whatever the cost, who pays for what, whatever. I mean, I get it. That's one of the things that was prohibiting the NHL from sending its players. But what's most interesting out of all this to me is the rink size now. Is now on NHL size rinks. So
have you ever played on an Olympic size rink?
Yes. It's like Steinberg.
Chesterfield used to have an Olympic sized rink.
Yeah.
And we played one men's league game on that rink. And I remember my captain called the league and said, never put us on that rink again. We're too old and fat.
It's like playing on a lake, the entire lake, right?
Yeah. No, I played a very brief, like 4-game stint with the SIUE club team in 1999, right before I graduated, and we played at University of Illinois, and that was the rink that Bonnie Blair grew up skating, and the speeds, it was a speed skating rink. And it like basically it was squared corners and could not play the puck for shit. And then the other game we played Wash U at the Chesterfield Olympic size rink. And my last action I saw, I came out to try to play the puck, throw it back around the boards, and it died the corner, and I was way out of position. They scored.
It is a lot longer behind that net.
Awful
yep, it's crazy, man. It's it's funny because, like, for me at least, when I'd step out and it was like, oh, okay, this doesn't look so bad. Like, it's fine. But then once the game starts, you're like, holy shit, I'm way out of position. Like, I gave that guy the entire length of the ice to skate up the boards.
Yeah, it's impossible for a defenseman to get your back skating speed right when they're coming across the blue line and into the zone. Just impossible.
To me, this is shocking. I mean, the Olympics have always been on like massive ice surfaces. You watch it on TV, you're like, man, there's a lot of open ice, and that's gonna change the game a lot for me. Olympic hockey, so I'm excited to watch that. It'd be more like, it should be just like the NHL players and NHL rinks, right? So just good hockey. You
expect that the Latvias of the world will lose some of their international advantages.
What just happened to my bottle opener? God damn it!
What? I can't even tell what that is.
It's a bottle opener. It just fucking broke.
Is it plastic?
Yes, it is.
Well, that's your problem right there.
It's also a flashlight.
Is it also a clock?
It's also a clock. Oh, it's time for my date with Joey.
Hey, you got the reference. Nice. Well done. Bettman said that this agreement is part of a larger push from the NHL for more international best-on-best competition between its players moving forward. He said the league plans to rotate every 2 years between the Olympics and the World Cup of Hockey, which, if you like hockey in the offseason, this is great news. So every 2 years, there will be a tournament, whether it be the Olympics or the World Cup of Hockey.
Did they say it was going to be in the offseason? Or are they going to do, because leagues are moving to that MLS style where it's, I guess soccer style, where it's the NBA started to do that, the mid-season tournament.
Yeah, the NBA did it.
And did you see what the NBA named it today?
No.
The Emirates NBA Trophy,
as in United?
Yeah, no. So Emirates is like they're massive in world soccer.
Yeah,
that's Arsenal, Kroenke's team. So I'm thinking he had probably something to do with this, being the owner of the Nuggets.
You know what? With the nature of hockey being a physical, violent sport, I can see them being slow to go to the in-season tournament. Soccer's not, like hockey. Basketball is, it's not.
Mulan?
What?
Oh, I spelled that wrong? I spelled it like the Disney princess, didn't I?
You did.
Mulan?
It's Milan.
Like
Lucic.
Lucic, yeah.
Yes. Sorry, in the chat, for those on the podcast, somebody asked what the country the Winter Olympics is in, and I said Mulan, like the Disney princess. It is Mulan.
Yeah, remember back in the day when some players would opt out of the NHL All-Star game, and some fans would be like, "Good, I don't want them getting hurt." Just for the stupid All-Star game, which is like no contact and guys coasting around. An in-season tournament, country against country, where the level of hockey is as high as it will ever be. There are guys that are gonna get hurt. So I mean, I don't know about. Maybe they'll have it, but I can see them being real tentative about doing that.
No, yeah. Sorry for the soccer rant, but Liverpool just lost in the last month. There are two mid-season international tournaments, the AFCON and the Asia Cup, and best player and best striker in the Premier League this day is Mohamed Salah. Goes to play for Egypt, hamstring injury, out through the end of February. Liverpool top of the table, and they're without their best striker through the thickest of games. It's terrible. I hate it.
I'm sorry. Yeah,
hate that.
The in-season tournaments strike me as strange. Like, why not have it in the off-season? I get it if players want to have time off, go on vacation, family time, whatever, but you can't take a couple weeks and do an off-season tournament. Delay the start of the season or shave the season by a few games to make, I don't know. Off season sounds like a much better time. That way, any injuries might have a month or two to heal. I don't know. I'd be shocked if the NHL does an in-season tournament. That's why I think
what if they did it as a precursor to the World Junior Championships, like early December, mid-December?
I don't think they would do it at all. I think that's why they're going to every other year Olympics and World Cup. I think that's why they're doing it that way. They have an off-season tournament. That to me sounds fantastic. I like that idea.
Oh, I love it too. I'm just saying I know that leagues are interested in that format that the NBA just recently moved.
Right. I'm sure it's a moneymaker. I'm sure it'd be good hockey, but I worry about injuries costing teams a shot at the Stanley Cup too. So.
Yeah, that's true.
No, that's I think it's going to wind up happening, and I think it's going to be that get used to every other year All-Star games, which is probably a good thing. I don't know if we're going to talk about that at all, but
they're not going to have one next year. So
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So to jumpstart that process of the players going to the Olympics, in place of the 2025 NHL All-Star Game, the league will host the NHL Four Nations Face-Off, a tournament between players from the United States, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. The event will be hosted February 12th through the 20th in 2 cities, one in the United States and one in Canada. They have not named those yet. But again, talking about in-season tournament, that's exactly what this is. Gary Bettman says, quote, "We wanted to do something, but we felt that we couldn't get ready in a year for a full-blown World Cup. This gets us started and puts us on a schedule that I think everybody is not just excited about, but really comfortable with." Just a quick note, only one active Blue has Olympic experience. That is defenseman Justin Falk. He played for the U.S. in 2014.
Do you know what's interesting about this? Russia's off this, as in left off of this too.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, this isn't even IHF. This is the Four Nations thing, and so, you know, I assume it's related to their occupation. You know, their war efforts. So, yeah, and you know, we've talked about this a little bit before when it came up that about, you know, Russian players after the war started and how they were being treated and if they should be punished or not by not being allowed to participate in things. And really, I don't think you can look at it that way. You're punishing the country to participate in this event that has countries participating in it.
Let's also not forget that the original ban for Russia was actually because of a doping scandal. They were giving steroids to their players, and that's why originally Russians were not allowed to participate for Russia. They were participating. What was it called? I can't remember what they called it. It was a weird
Unified
acronym.
Team.
Unified Team,
right.
Russian athletes or something. But yeah, they
could compete, but they couldn't compete under the umbrella
the
of
Russian flag.
Russia. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Sochi was just a, you know, they had a doping lab.
So,
but anyway, so this tournament, I love this idea. Actually, I think this is really cool, and I think, and I know we've had the U.S. or was it North America versus the world back in the day. I hated that. I thought that was stupid. You had some weird players making that world team. I think now if you did a 4-6 nation all-star game and made it all weekend, that could be interesting. But we'll talk about that another time, I'm sure. But I love this idea of this 4-nation face-off where it's, you know, you're going to get a U.S.-Canada game. You're going to get a Finland-Sweden game. Like, I'm all for this. I love this. And players are going to take this seriously.
Right. I mean, looking at the World Junior Championships, like those are pretty damn good. And then, you know, those rivalries, and even, you know, the U.S. and Finland have played some pretty high stakes games over the years. And yeah, so it's pretty awesome. And you have to know that, you know, a couple years from now, you know, the next cycle of this, if they're going to call him Team Chechnya, like in, you know, the World Juniors, but you getting the Russians and, you know, the Czechs back in the game, that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
It is a shame. It is a shame that Russia is not going to be in this. They should be. I mean, talent-wise, you know, they talent-wise, they absolutely should be in this. But it's
look at the top goaltending in the NHL today. Never thought that, you know, like back in the 90s, you had, you know, Nabokov coming up, you know, and Habibulin towards the end of the 90s. But you didn't have great Russian. Mikhail Sergachev for the Anaheim Mighty Ducks, right? There just weren't those guys. But now Shesterkin, right? That dude, Sorokin, Varlamov, top goaltending. Vasilevsky, right? I can't believe I left him off, right?
Yeah.
That really, you can make an argument that the top 5 goalies in the NHL are not from North America, Sweden or Finland.
Well, and that brings up a great point here from Winning Unlimited. He says, who are the Canada goalies? And I'm sitting here racking my brain. Who are the best Canadian goalies? He has Benner and Ingram. I mean, the fact that Connor Ingram is in this conversation is interesting as hell.
Bennington is in that conversation for the top 2-3.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Right.
And it leads into Bill's comment, the fact that this league right now in goaltending is being led by Russia. There's some Finnish, UC Saros, right? He's Finnish, or is he Swedish?
Mm-hmm. No, he's Finnish.
Finnish, and you got Swedish goalies like Henrik Lundqvist just retired. You got,
Georgiev
the
is
rest of the world is starting to take. Georgiev?
Georgiev is, what is he?
He's from Kenya, I believe.
Bulgaria? No. What is it?
Kenya. I'm telling you.
What it was. Kenya.
No.
Bulgaria.
China.
Yeah. It is Bulgaria. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Close.
Yeah. No, it is the future of the prospects for international tournaments is so super high. But yeah, as far as the Canadian goaltending, right? If next year I could see a Marc-Andre Fleury, if he hasn't retired, right? He gets the nod because he's the old school guy at this point. But Bennington's
who is that? I'm
be
sorry.
In there.
Who did you say?
Marc-Andre Fleury.
Marc-Andre, yeah. I mean, if he's in the NHL next year,
right? If he hasn't retired at this point next year,
that's an interesting call.
And maybe it'll be interesting to see. Like, is this something that he wants to participate in so much that he delays his retirement and gets there? I mean, there is not a more beloved goalie in the league right now than that guy, right? He's celebrated everywhere.
You think he'd be on Team Canada?
If he wanted to play there, he would be one of the goalies. He would make it over Stuart Skinner.
I think that would be a conversation where they'd say, Marc-Andre, do you want to do this? And I think he'd say yes. And because it would be we have guys that are probably just as good as him, but even having him as your third goalie, I mean, just for morale alone, having that guy in the locker room would be huge.
Yeah.
And I love
definitely got to be in that mix.
I think so too, 100%.
Yeah.
And I love Whittington Unlimited's comments here about the U.S. goalies. Thatcher Demko, Connor Hellebuck, Jake Ottinger. Something that he didn't even mention. Again, you talk about the veteran presence, the guy you could get, John Gibson. I mean, that's another one.
Yeah, guy that wound up at the wrong place at the wrong time in his career.
He did.
Oh man.
So interesting. We'll see. Oh my goodness. Winning Unlimited. I don't think that's going to happen. He says, okay, with Doug as GM, do we see a possibility of Binner and Hofer on Team Canada? Not for this 4-team face-off. We'll see what happens by Olympic time.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of years, you never know. But
somebody on this team loves them some Hofer with as many games as he started this year.
Yes.
And he's not looked terribly out of place, but definitely not what we expected.
I mean, he would have to be worlds on fire, taking the number one spot going into this tournament for him to, I think, be on this team for this tournament.
Right. If Connor Ingram's playing at the same level that he's playing right now for the Coyotes, no way. No way. I mean, how much does he have to do with the Coyotes still being in the playoff picture?
Yep. So potential Blues who could be on this Four Nations face-off team as of right now. We'll see if any of these guys are Blues at this time or at this the time this tournament takes place. For Finland, Kasperi Kapanen. For Sweden, Oscar Sundqvist and possibly Calle Rosen, depending on who's available. Canada, you've got Robert Thomas, Colton Parayko, and of course Jordan Binnington. USA, you've got Justin Falk, Torrey Krug, and Scott Perunovich. I think is all potential players. They'll all be on a short list, but I I don't know. The ones that are surefire going to make it, I might be speaking a little highly of him. I don't know. I think he does. I think Robert Thomas is definitely on Team Canada.
He's for sure on, yeah.
Yeah.
I count him as a top forward. If you consider the top 12 forwards in the NHL, dude, you put Robert Thomas out there with Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ.
Hell, right now, Robert Thomas could easily be a fourth line shutdown setter on a Canadian team.
His defensive game has improved so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Just and put him with other defensive not minded players and not Jordan Kyrou. Yeah.
And then I'll say I think Colton Parayko is another guy. I think all three, it's crazy to say because you think Team Canada is the powerhouse it is.
Does Craig Button have any input in this?
Right. Craig Button's laughing at you right now. Bud.
I think right now, if you look at it, and maybe Parayko makes the team as the sixth defenseman, but I think your 1, 2, 3 of surefire going to make this tournament. I think it's Robert Thomas, Jordan Binnington, Colton Parayko. I think all three of those guys could potentially make Team Canada, especially with Doug Armstrong as GM.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, so many good defensemen.
Yeah.
On Team Canada. But you kind of you wonder. Doughty's kind of in that same category as Fleury, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, offer it to him, but is he going to play another year? He's
I think he'll still be in the league, but I think he'll probably be like, it'll be, do I just want this time to rest kind of thing?
Right. Especially if the Kings are close to the playoffs.
Right.
And he's still with them.
Yep. Really very generous and nice comment here, and true comment, if I don't say so for myself. Casey Gorak over on Facebook says, I'm sorry, Casey, I don't, I'm not sure your gender. I don't want to assume it. You've probably heard it before, but thank you. Casey's a global name, right?
Right. I know, but just I don't want to point out that you don't know.
I was going to say he said, but I'm like, well,
just go they. Just go they and move
I don't know
on.
they. All right, they, move on. All right, let's do it.
Oh, my God.
You've probably heard it before.
Made it awkward.
You probably heard it before, but thank you. Now Casey's never going to listen to the show before. Or never
way to go.
To the show.
Losing listeners left and right.
You've probably heard, I'm a dude, he says. All right, good. You've probably heard it before, but thank you guys.
Move over
show.
there. Let me take over.
I've learned more about hockey from you guys than anything I've watched or read. Please keep it up. I really appreciate it. Thank you. That is one thing when not going to mention Bill here, as he wasn't at the start. When Kurt and I started the show, we said, man, part of this, I just want to be able to educate people about hockey. And so I'm glad we've been able to do that.
I just wanted to talk hockey with people because the sports radio, the hockey talk in St. Louis was non-existent, and the stuff that was out there was awful. It was just company-fed bullshit. It was nothing good. So it was I was like, just I think we know what we're talking about. So I just wanted to have an intelligent conversation with somebody on a regular basis, and I think that's what we've done. So thank you.
And when you guys offered me the opportunity to come and drink beer and talk hockey, and not have a whole lot of other responsibility, I was all over it.
It's so funny because I'll talk to my hockey teammates about it, and they'll be like, really, all you do there, honestly, is sit around, drink beer, and talk about hockey. And I'm like, yeah, it's the life. It's fantastic.
For me, especially since I know, I'm not allowed to touch the technical end of things.
Yes. Bill really has it made.
It's like DJ Joe that did the that little fun intro for us that time. It was like, all they do is sit around and drink beer and talk hockey.
It's true. That is what we do. Right. Bottoms up, baby.
That's it's not a hard commitment to make, I'll tell you.
No, it's not. There are worse part-time jobs in the world. I will tell you that. Robert Thomas was at the NHL All-Star Game. He was on Team McDavid. He was, apparently.
Didn't do a whole lot.
No, he was on Team McDavid. He did not participate in the skills competition, which we can briefly discuss in a little bit. His first game of the All-Star game
itself. Neither did Nikita Kucherov.
Yeah, right.
Zing.
First game, he had 0 points and 2 shots. Only he and Sam Reinhart didn't have points in the first game for Team McDavid. They did win that game and in overtime, so they ended up going to the championship game. In the second game, 0 points, 2 shots. Only he and Reinhart didn't have points for Team McDavid in this game. So they're the only 2 players from the 2 championship game teams to have 0 points. I don't give a shit. You know, I saw some people saying, oh, my God, how does our guy not even get a point in a tournament like this? I don't care. It's the same as if Austin Matthews would have put up 35 points in 2 games. I would have been like, wow, you put up 35 points against a bunch of guys who don't give a shit. So I have no problem with him not having a great tournament.
I mean, for me, it was that he just didn't play well at all. He looked terrible. And not that it matters. It doesn't. But, I mean, everything was telegraphed. No creativity. It was just like, 2-on-1, he's passing, and it usually didn't connect. It's like, I don't know. It was just uninspired. Not that he wasn't trying, but it's just the lack of creativity from him on his passes was just disappointing. Now, whatever. Yeah. I mean, you want to see your favorite guys, the Blues players do well, even if the game doesn't matter. You want to see them look good. And you're watching, you want to cheer for him a little bit, and it was kind of a sad performance, actually.
Yeah, no, I've the player that I have compared him to most over his NHL career and thought at one point he was eclipsing him was Matthew Barzal, and holy shit, what an all-star day Barzal had, right? He is a couple levels above Thomas based on that performance. I think Thomas is still he's still building up that full 82 game stamina, and this extra not getting that it's kind of, it sucks for all of us Blues fans not to have Blues hockey for 10 days, but this extra break, getting a chance to go will be great for Tomer. But yeah, it's Barzal definitely, I always want to make that argument. Thomas is better than him. Coming out of this, there's no way I can keep making that argument.
I think you can, because it's a fucking all-star game, and I don't care. I think Thomas is a better player than Barzal overall.
You telling me you tell me, did you watch the game?
No.
Okay.
Did you watch 8 hours of the game?
8 hours.
I didn't do that either.
So for those Blues fans that did watch the game, I was one of them. You're watching the game, you're looking for Thomas. If you did watch the game, you'd be looking for, okay, when's Thomas on the ice? Oh, there he is. So
that's the only time I'd pay attention.
And you're paying extra attention because you'd like to see him perform well, because you're a Thomas fan. You want to see him do well. I mean, even though it doesn't mean anything, right? It's an all-star game. Who cares?
But the last time I remember, I think it was Tarasenko was the last one I watched that he was in. And I did do that. I was like, okay, when's 91 on the ice?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, but I hope he had fun. I love Thomas. Hope he had fun, but he laid an egg during the game. Mm. He just didn't do anything. And it was
unfortunate,
and whatever.
And with it being his hometown, I think you kind of expected a little more too, probably.
Like, it's my first All-Star game. I'm just going to pass to everybody else. I'm not even, he rarely shot. He had a few shots in the 2 games, but it's like the first game that Team McDavid was in was great. They scored 2 goals in the last, 30 seconds to tie it, and then they won in the shootout. That was cool because they were down 3-1 or whatever it was. They were on my 2 goals. And they scored 2 in the last 30 seconds to tie it, and they won the shootout. That was pretty cool. That was fun. And but Thomas was not on the ice for any of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I overall All-Star game, I liked it. I've liked the 3-on-3 format much better than the previous 5-on-5, 25 to 26 game they'd have. The 3-on-3 tournament for me, so much better. Even though the first 4/5 of the game are the 2 teams just kind of feeling each other out, kind of half-assing on defense and whatever. But then if it's close, the last few minutes, guys are kind of busting their ass.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so if you watch the All-Star game, just watch the last few minutes of a close game. Then you see guys trying. Guys are back checking. Guys are actually trying to win this game. So that's when it's more fun to watch. When it's close and guys actually do care. It's weird how they just turn it on. Okay, I care now.
Yeah.
You
see that go ahead.
Yeah, I mean they're all competitive, and overall, generally, I liked it. Whatever. I mean, I understand. I understand what it is.
So I'll be honest. The only reason that I didn't even have it on, they've changed. So it used to be skills competition Saturday night, and then All-Star games Sunday afternoon. They've changed that. Now it's Friday night skills competition. Is it Saturday afternoon or Saturday night?
Saturday afternoon for the game.
Afternoon. My Saturdays are shot. If the skills competition Saturday night, I'm like, I will do what I can to make sure I can watch it. Saturday afternoons are no go for me.
Well, I didn't watch it live.
So and then Friday night I had something going on to where I had to miss it, and it was I literally couldn't watch any of it live.
There are these things nowadays called DVRs, and you can watch them at your leisure.
I know, but when I hear from everyone I know how awful it was, I'm like, I'm just not going to watch it.
I'm usually off the grid if I'm recording something I want to watch later. So
yeah, I watched the skills comp in the morning, Saturday morning. I caught a couple of clips on
what'd
Twitter,
you think about it?
And I mean it's. I didn't like it all that much.
I hated it.
I mean, when they brought the goalies on, I thought that was better. But come on, goalies, second class citizens. We can only make 100,000 when they were basically giving McDavid, who created the competition with his off-season workout, $1 million.
But how many events were the goalies in? They weren't in all the events. They were
right.
Yeah,
right. And that's bullshit.
Well, I mean, you get 100,000. Here's the thing. I watched it. I liked it. I thought it was far better in the past couple of years with the stupid shooting a surfboard. You think shooting a surfboards on the beach is better than
I'm saying actually having the hardest shooters and the best accuracy shooters, having them involved is better than what I saw last weekend.
So, okay, that's a different discussion, I think.
It's the same discussion.
No, as far as who's competing, that's different than the actual events.
But that's my problem with it, is you're not actually having the hardest shooters compete.
I don't care. Okay, personally, to me, I don't care if the best of the best in the NHL are competing in the skills competition. Honestly, I'm watching it. These are all high-level players. They're maybe not the best of the best in each particular category, but you're never going to get that, really. I mean, Ali Afridi, how good? I mean, okay, there are some players like Parayko, for example. He has one of the hardest shots in the NHL. He's not gonna. He's not shooting, and it's only players who are voted in. So, and not necessarily the fastest skater or the hardest shot are in there anyway. But with that said, the players that are there, they're still very good players. And to me, it's just the competition between those players and who's going to win, who's fastest among those players, who's doing these events the best with those players. So I got into it a little bit in that respect. And I understand what you're saying.
But I get it. That eliminates the whole idea of an all-star game. It's the best
but
of the
it's always
best.
been that way.
But
it's never been the best
got
of
a
the best.
select few of the best of the best.
That's always been the case.
But no, not in the skills competition. I'm saying
sure the fastest skater.
No.
How often does each team send their fastest skater?
Wait,
okay, that happened one time, and I actually really, really liked that.
Yes,
every team had their skills competition and sent. Well,
that's fine.
I think they didn't send their best. It was the top 5 in every category across the league. I like that. Gives the opportunity. It's more democratic. It gives opportunity to to the Murray Barons of the world. Second Murray Baron reference.
Stop with the Murray Baron.
Should Colton Parayko be in an NHL hardest shot competition?
Yes.
Has he ever been?
If he wins the Blues competition, he should be
right,
and is better than.
But my point is
26 other people.
My point is that there are guys that might have a top 5 hardest shot in the NHL that aren't going to be in the skills competition because they're just not great players.
Okay, my point is more that the all-stars that are there, like, okay, let's talk about the passing competition because that's the easiest one to for us Blues fans to talk about. The passing competition. Robert Thomas should be top 5 players to be in that competition.
Sure.
But he's not even fucking dressed. He's not even playing.
And
so
was
me,
and
it's
was
like
it said
we're not seeing the best passers.
I understand, but
look at how bad Barzal was at that.
I understand you're not seeing the best of the best in the show, but you're probably not seeing even if other players there, it's probably not necessarily.
But what I'm saying is I want to
see
see the best of the all-stars that are present, and we didn't see that. You're telling me that if they would have had everyone dressed, Robert Thomas and Sidney Crosby wouldn't be in the passing competition? That's what I want to see.
Was it ever said if Thomas opted out?
No, but I mean,
right. I don't.
But you can't claim that wasn't the case. You can't claim that, like, well, they asked Thomas and he said no. We don't know. But I'm telling you, they said up against at the start, we're only going to have 12 players doing this.
Yeah,
I'm going to guarantee you, Robert Thomas was not one of them they asked.
Well, you don't know. I don't know.
He's not a name enough.
I'm just saying. I don't. To me, I put that aside. I understand what you're saying. I would have loved to have seen Thomas in the passing drill because he is one of the best passers in the NHL. He absolutely should have been in it. If you're trying to see who the best passer amongst the NHL All-Stars is. I get it. But for what it was, the 12 players that competed, I just enjoyed the competition between those 12 players to see who was the best amongst those 12 players. I thought it was entertaining. I liked it.
You mean
I didn't
among
like that.
the 11 that tried?
Was it 11? Oh, yeah. The 11 that tried. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing is that a guy like Kucherov who didn't give a fuck.
Right.
And he that one competition, he just coasted and just acted like he was put out and didn't want to do it because he fucked up early on it. It's like, you know what? You could have opted out. You could have said, nope, I'm not doing the skills competition at all. You can't make me. And they would have put somebody else in his spot. But no, he did it. And if you're going to do it, you're representing your team. You're representing your city. There's an obligation to go out there and put a good effort out. He didn't do any of that. And I thought that was embarrassing to him and the city and the team. I thought I was like, dude.
But I'll say Lightning fans loved it from what I saw. They thought it was hilarious.
Really?
Yeah, because of his personality. Because that's the way he acted after they won the cup.
He was
they were asking him questions and he was
on,
just like, oh, I don't give a shit. And people, that's what Lightning fans were saying. He might have been drunk for this competition.
Well, that's okay. I thought it looked terrible, and they even made a comment on the broadcast that McDavid looked put off by it. He didn't care for it.
My favorite part about it is, so again, like Bill, I didn't watch it live. Saturday night, I was just sitting around and I just flipped on NHL Network and I saw, they've got the skills competition starting. So I actually watched the start of it. They left out all of Kucherov's stuff. It would go to commercial and it'd come back and be in the middle of a competition and they'd be like, we already saw Nikita Kucherov do this. And I'm just like, oh, so you're not even going to show it. So the NHL was like, nope, we ain't even going to show it in replays.
If you paid money to go see the All-Star game, the skills competition, and you saw a player turn in that kind of I don't give a fuck performance, that'd be annoying. I'd be like, come on,
he got
dude.
booed.
Oh, he should have. He did get booed, and he should have. Because that's like, you know what? At least, I mean, I get, you see players who screw up during a drill, and they'll finish it, and they finish it in a way that they're not giving 100%, but they look kind of disgusted, and they're still trying a little bit. Kucherov was like, I don't know how to describe it. It was just like a lazy, just going through the motions. It had a really bad look.
I didn't hate it. I'm not going to tell you that I
thought it was,
I'm not going to tell you that I loved it. I'm not going to defend what he did, but I'm just going to tell you I just didn't give a shit. Like, I saw what he did and I laughed. I was like, okay, so he cares as much as I do about it.
Well, I just thought if it would have been a Blues player, I'd have been embarrassed. I'd have been ashamed of him. I'd have been like that.
I wouldn't have cared.
You're representing your city, your team, but I guess you and I look at that differently.
Well, okay, let me put it like this. If it was Robert Thomas, I think I would have cared because I would have been like, okay, dude, you're like kind of an unknown to the NHL still for some ungodly, unknown reason. So I'd like to see you give it your all. But if it was like Jordan Binnington, I'd be like, yeah, good job, buddy. Like, that's funny.
No, that's I think of all people, Binnington to half-ass something. That would just bring the haters out of the. Oh yeah,
exactly. He's a villain. That's why.
Yeah, but no, that's not why.
I don't think you'd ever get Jordan Binnington into an NHL skills competition unless there was goalie fights.
He right? won the he
wants that, and nobody will give it to him. Right?
He won
Fleury wanted to give it to him in the linesman's.
Well, he won the goalie aspect of it in 20. So
yeah, he was that the goalie goal? Was that what he did?
No, the saves, the breakaway.
Oh, the saves. That's right. Yeah. But they didn't count it right. Remember?
They were off, but he still won it, didn't he?
I don't remember exactly what happened, but I remember being like, they didn't he should have. I think he allowed a goal, but they let him keep going, and they were I can't remember exactly what happened, but we talked about it on the show. I remember being like, they didn't count that right, but yeah, he won. That's all that matters. Anyway, Michael Bublé. That was my highlight of the All-Star weekend. I referenced it a ton in the open of the show tonight. His quote, and he said a couple funny things. But the one thing he said on the stand, my buddy told me, this is just a microdose of mushrooms, and he was lying. So I'll be honest. I thought I was in Blades of Glory for most of the time that I was out there until it sort of settled down. And then I realized, holy shit, I'm at the NHL All-Star game.
I think that's cool.
So funny.
That's cool. Will Arnett was interviewed and gave us kind of a similar, like, oh my gosh, there's so many awesome players around here. He's in awe, and just seeing like a big a star like that, just in awe of like hockey players. This is kind of fun and neat. And it's like they're kids out there, just meeting these people. So that's kind of fun. I like that a lot. And I didn't mind. I loved the whole honorary coach, captain, whatever they were, on the bench. I thought Bieber being on the bench was kind of a Elton John joke, but with his huge ass coat, I thought, okay, whatever. But yeah, I mean, I thought it was kind of neat.
Yeah, but even Bieber was respectful of the game, right? Like,
sure, no, I get it. I get it. No, yeah, it was. He's a hockey guy. He loves hockey. I get it. But
yeah, and one of the greatest things was that the Pro-Am game where Pronger plastered him.
Yeah,
that's one of the greatest photos the last 15 years from hockey.
That's the greatest photo in hockey since Orr getting tripped, scoring the cup winning goal.
That's a good one. I will. I don't know if you guys saw that Bublé did say later on Instagram, somebody said you come down off those shrooms, and he was like, for 20 years, I've been making jokes like this. I don't know why people don't know that I was kidding. And I'm sorry. Sorry, Michael. I know you listen to the show. You're a big fan. I look at his eyes in that press conference. If you've ever seen someone on shrooms, I'm sorry. I think he was on shrooms. He had the look. Oh yeah, I think he was. I really do.
And maybe in 10 years, if we're still doing this show, we will have a local shroom dispensary sponsoring us. I think the world needs to go towards that.
Michael Bublé seems a little more classy than Kucherov, so. I don't know. Man. I don't think you go behind the microphone to all.
I think he's a guy who likes to party. Personally,
shrooms versus vodka, right?
I don't know. I heard the interview. I didn't think that. I just thought it was funny.
I'm telling you, look at his eyes. So your pupils get extremely dilated, where you don't even see the color in your eyes.
The camera was like 20 feet away from him.
It's a fucking 4D camera, dude. Check it out.
All right.
Yes, baked beaver. And yes, I know for a fact this man is a professional. As a professional and expert opinion, he was tripping balls. I agree. I'm with you. Trust, he was high as fuck on something. Yeah, maybe it wasn't shrooms, but he was definitely on something. So, yeah, I'm with you, Beaver. I've never done shrooms in my life. Of course not, ever. I didn't do it within the past year. But, yeah, you can tell. It was pretty obvious. Big Beaver tells you, Kurt, to challenge the play.
I
Skate was in the crease.
I didn't analyze the interview. I saw it, and I didn't think anything of it. But okay,
no, not worthy of an argument because I don't think you care that much.
I mean, I didn't notice, so I don't know. Okay,
yeah. Next up for the Blues, Saturday at Buffalo at noon. And this is annoying. I hate this. I don't mind the afternoon games. The back-to-back afternoon games drive me crazy. I hate those because that just tells me, well, Saturday and Sunday, you ain't doing shit. You're going to be sitting on your couch watching the Blues.
Jesus. I didn't realize that. Saturday at noon, Saturday, Montreal.
Buffalo noon.
Montreal
Sunday at
always
Montreal
plays Super Bowl Sunday, right? That's the thing, and I guess this is the first year that the Blues are getting that game. So,
yep. It's always the Canadian teams always play the afternoon of Super Bowl.
Yeah, but they always go to the one super schwanky steak place to watch the Super Bowl, and it's a huge party. But
why does the Baked Beaver always say Kurt challenged the play? When that discussion, that argument we had, the debate we had, you were the one to challenge the play. I was the one saying, no, don't challenge that play.
I don't know. I think
I think he's got it backwards.
Clearly, Baked Beaver is on shrooms right now. Okay?
Clearly, because it's backwards.
He's baked.
You were the one that wanted to challenge that play.
He's Bublé's supplier.
Yeah.
The baked Bublé is what he should change his name to. So again, Saturday at Buffalo at noon, Sunday at Montreal at noon, and then Tuesday at Toronto at 6:00 St. Louis time. So yes, that is the Northeast swing. I believe they come home on Thursday. I don't have that on my notes, but I do know they play on Thursday. I think they're coming home.
The Northeast Road Stand.
Yes, the road stand, of course.
The road stand. So pull the Ken Morris last question up in the make that front and center.
Got it. Yep.
Bill
Day, if you could only add one more goalie jersey to your collection, who would it be? Can Kurt and I guess first?
One more ever.
One more ever. I will let you guys take a guess.
All right. Okay. So you've got. Okay.
Oh, I know who it is.
Oh boy. You really?
Can I say?
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Liut.
Yeah, it's Liut Blues jersey, right?
So, I will go one beyond that. So that is actually on order already. So I count it as in the
inventory.
In the inventory. So the one after that.
Okay.
Pelle Lindbergh 31 Flyers jersey.
That's a good one.
Okay.
Home or away?
The white.
Nice.
The home
the old
of the
home,
era.
Old homes.
Yeah.
Nice. I respect that. The home of the era. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Baked Beaver makes a good point here. He says, I'm yelling because you should have challenged. Me and Ponder agreed we would have.
No, you're both
actually
that shit crazy.
I don't even remember what the play was, but you're wrong, Kurt. Fuck you.
I'm not going to get into it again. I'm right.
I don't even remember it.
I am so right. It's not even funny.
You're wrong. Fuck you. What do you know?
I'm not going to debate you, Jerry. Not going to debate.
Yeah.
Not getting sucked back into this. Only to just prove I'm right again. I've already done it.
No, you're wrong. Whatever it was about, you were wrong. Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. Something happened to, it was very unfortunate to Mikhail Sergachev. He had a bad injury. So Sergachev skated toward Alexis Lafreniere from the New York Rangers midway through the second period, and the Rangers forward reverse hit him. Sergachev's leg bent as he fell to the ice, and he immediately let out a scream of pain. Officials blew the play dead, and Tampa Bay players quickly gathered around their teammate. He remained crumpled on the ice for multiple minutes. The play took place near photographers who Tampa Bay's Eric Cernak tried to wave away with Sergachev down. His ankle looked broken. It was pretty nasty. Just a really nasty play.
Real quick here on the reverse hit, the idea of the reverse hit. Have we ever talked about the idea that the reverse hit could be interference?
Mm-hmm. I don't think we talked about it, but it totally could be.
That's a discussion that you could have in a debate as far as, because you're hitting a guy.
I haven't even thought about that.
And yeah, a lot of times the player that is doing the reverse hitting, the puck is gone too. So it's like, yeah, he's like, you could say he's over bracing for the hit, but he's actually dishing out a hit. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to have a discussion sometime about whether that's interference or not.
That's a,
yeah. I think Steen got called once or twice for interference using it.
We should get an NHL ref on here, a former NHL ref that's not from St. Louis. I like that guy.
Yeah. One that didn't have to retire in disgrace.
Yes. Who could that be?
Let's find Carrie Fraser. Let's bring on the hair.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
The one that said there's never been a makeup call ever.
Never been a makeup call.
No. I also never saw him fixing his hair during a game before.
The one who Bob Basson threw aside so he could continue fighting.
Oh yeah,
that was great.
So Sergachev was playing in his first game since sustaining a lower body injury on December 19th against St. Louis. And I don't know if you guys have anything else to add to the injury, because I was going to talk about his post.
Well, I was just going to say that anybody who's played ice hockey, when you get knocked down or whatever, there's sometimes the toe of your skate kind of digs in and it gets caught, right? And if you get knocked down backwards, and then your foot, it finally breaks free and your foot comes out. If it doesn't break free if it sticks in the ice and stays and you go backwards on your butt or on your back, there's a chance you're screwing up your knee, your ankle, you're hyperextending something, you're breaking something. And this was bad. It stuck in, it dug in, it didn't move. And it just, his whole weight came down on his foot,
cutting edge,
bent the wrong way. And it was just, and this is, I talked about this 2 weeks ago, or last show, I guess. My pickleball tournament, the guy that broke his ankle in two places. This exact same thing happened in pickleball. He went down, his whole body came down on his ankle, collapsed underneath of him, and it broke his ankle. It's just, if you haven't seen this replay, brace yourself, because if you do want to watch it, because it hurts to watch.
I mean, I'll tell you, if you're squeamish and something like this bothers you, don't watch it. It's not like the Joe Heisman, but
Joe Theismann.
Joe Theismann. But it's bad. It's not the Clinton Larchuk, but it's bad.
The Curtis Foster femur injury.
Have you seen the Tony Kukoc? Tony Kukoc, the Bengals lineman in the Super Bowl. Look that up. He breaks his leg, and as he's kind of rolling around, it's flopping in the air.
Yeah.
It's gross.
I do remember that one. Yeah, that one's bad.
Yeah, it was Bengals.
This isn't
49ers.
that, but it's still not good.
Yeah, it's not. But you know what? When it does kind of, when the skate does kind of free itself from the ice, the way it jerks back, you can tell it's broke.
Yeah, it's like a spring. It's like a spring. It just fucking shoots
moves
back
weird.
out.
Yeah.
It's
God.
And I'll say, man, you talk about that. Anyone who's done that, like it. Yeah, but I don't know if you've had that situation.
It's scary.
But
it's scary.
I've had a situation where I've gone into the boards and me and a guy collided, and I could feel as I'm falling backwards, my skate is stuck, and like it's like time slows down, and you're just thinking, oh my God, I just got to get my skate loose. Like, just get your fucking skate loose. And luckily, every time I've been able to like kick my leg, and it'll kick loose. But yeah, for
usually it does.
Unfortunately, he couldn't do it.
Yeah, usually it does, but every once in a while, it doesn't.
Yeah, and this was one of those situations, and it's just unfortunate. I mean, the dude just came back from an injury from December, and he goes right back on and he had to be stretchered off. It was not good.
Yeah. I had this game on, and I was like doing other stuff, and I came back into the kitchen when it was on, and all of a sudden they're stretching him off. I'm like, oh, what the hell happened?
Yeah. Yep. That's actually kind of what happened to me with not to change subject here, but Jay Bomeister. I literally went to the bathroom, and the Blues were up 1-0, I think, at that time. Barbashev, I don't know why I remember that, but I think Barbashev had the goal. And I was like, all right, it was one of those things. I'm like, I can't wait. I'm just going to go pee real quick. And I went, came back out, and I'm like, why the fuck has the game stopped? Why are they all hovered around the Blues bench? And it was like the announcers weren't talking because Pang and Kelly were so freaked out. And I'm like, what is happening? Yeah. And then I just jumped on Twitter, and I'm like, whoa.
You watch Dunn, and Dunn is freaked out. He was right there. And I was on the treadmill. I was watching the game on DVR, as I do a lot. And Amy had texted me and said, are you watching the Blues game? Oh my God, something bad just happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. I mean, I was, but I'm like, no, I'm watching on delay. And I always get mad at people when they like give something away when I'm watching DVR. And I said, no, but thanks. Now I'm like waiting for something to happen. Yeah. And then it happens. I'm like, oh fuck. I was not expecting that.
Yeah.
That was something I was expecting, like an injury on the ice or
you're
terrible
never
goal against
expecting what happened to Bomeister.
Not expecting a near-death experience on the ice. No.
Richard Zednik, Yuri Fisher. You're never expecting stuff like that.
No, the Russian player that the Rangers prospect in Russia that died.
Sharapanov.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, anyway, so Sergachev, after this game, I think it was that night, he posted, oh, man, why me? Why now? After all the games missed, coming back and getting injured again feels unfair, feels terrible. Trying to stay calm and positive, but it's impossible. After doing everything right, I get this. The universe is unpredictable, I guess, and has its own plans, but fuck the universe, man. I know I'll come back stronger, and I know I'll play better than before, but it's tough right now, and it's going to be tough tomorrow. We all fight our own battles, and this is mine. I'll win, always do. Pain meds are good, though. If I was in the forest by myself, I'd be dead. Crazy, isn't it? Wanted to write how I feel here. Don't know why, but just wanted to let people that care about me know. I appreciate all of your messages. Thanks to the medical staff. My thoughts here. One, he was high from the medical, all the fucking shit they got him on.
The pain meds.
And two, I love just his candor here. I love him just going on social media and posting exactly what is in his head. And it just goes to show like that these guys, again, we think of these guys as warriors. We think of them as not people. You read this and it's like, again, I know I'm a fucking stupid men's league player, but like when I knew I was going to be out for 4 months, well, I didn't think it was going to be 4 months. When I knew I was going to be out with my latest injury, I was like, why me? What the fuck? What is happening? I'm not that old. Why does this keep happening to me? And so I could relate so hard to this. And it's just this poor guy, like you're just like, God damn it, poor Sergachev. That just sucks.
His comment about him being in the forest, if he was in the forest by himself, he'd be dead. That was like
that's what tips you off that he's totally fucking high.
Right. Pain meds are good though. But you think about it, it's like, if he broke his ankle like that and couldn't really move, and he was in the forest in the middle of the woods by himself with no way to get to civilization, would he die? I don't know if he'd die, but he'd be in trouble.
Oh yeah. Well, my sister was hiking somewhere in Washington State once, and she was walking up the hill and she saw this bear cub, and she was like, "Oh my God, cute little bear cub!" And she's like, "Wait a minute, if there's a bear cub around,
there's a bear
mom's around somewhere." And she looked to her right, and there's this fucking bear just staring her down. So she just calmly walked up the hill all the way she could, and then she could see both of them. And she said, she's like, at that point, I just had to wait. Like, I just was like, I'm going to wait until they leave.
Black bear, brown bear?
Black bear.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least it wasn't a brown bear.
Yeah. So she said she just sat on top of this hill for 4 hours, waited for these bears to leave. Because she's like, if I walk back by that cub, that fucking bear is going to kill me. And you
well,
just think about like a bear attack or something. It's like, if I get attacked and I survive, I'm not going to survive at the end because there's no one here. Like, I'm just going to be here for days until someone finds me.
I mean, depending on the person, they say you can fight off a black bear because they're smaller. But the brown bears, they will rip you in two.
My sister is weak as shit. She did not find out that bear.
Well, if you're fighting for your life, maybe something comes out in a person. You never know.
Maybe. I doubt it.
Maybe I doubt it.
She's 4 years older than me, and I could take her when I was 10.
I don't think black bears are as aggressive either. So there's that.
Well, they might be a little bit when you're close to their cub.
Possibly, probably. You're right. You're probably right. But
moments like that, man, that's scary as hell, and because like I've been in a situation where I went hiking with my wife years ago, and I just sprained my ankle. I tripped and sprained my ankle, and I thought, if this thing was broken, she wouldn't be able to carry me back to the car. Like, she would literally have to leave and then go find someone, and they have to come back and find me.
Suck it up and fashion a crutch out of a stick and a branch, and you can make it back.
I'm such a man.
Get some leaves.
Get some leaves.
I could have just taken a whole tree trunk and just picked it out of the ground and used that as a crutch.
Just rub some dirt on it. It'd be fine.
Yeah, right. All right. Anything else to add, guys?
Nope.
Fun show, boys.
Yeah, fun show. Blues play Saturday. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'm not happy. You guys got a pick for the Super Bowl Sunday night?
I just hope both teams have fun.
Me too.
Actually,
predetermined outcome, the Kansas City Taylor Swifts in a blowout.
I saw something that said Taylor Swift, I'm terrible with the awards. Grammys or music, right?
Grammys last weekend, yeah.
Yeah, so Taylor Swift's going to come home with a Grammy and a Lombardi trophy within 2 weeks.
I don't know. I don't really care. I'd love to see a fantastic finish. That'd be fun. I'm going to a Super Bowl party, so I'll just hang out and casually watch the game and just have a good time at the party.
Yeah.
My wife's a big Chiefs fan, as well as my in-laws, so we're going to their house to watch it. So I will be rooting Chiefs, but at the end of the day, if it's a fun game, that's all I care about.
Yeah, I'll probably make my decision during the game. If something like, I don't like that player or that play, or they were screwed or whatever, then I'll kind of maybe I'll make a decision during the game who I want to win.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't really have a rooting interest, but I did like the one social media post I saw today. Said Brock Purdy looks like a kid that went to Spirit Halloween and got or is on the Spirit Halloween 49ers fan costume package. Yeah, he's super looks like he's like 15. So
yeah.
Yep.
Mr. Irrelevant, right?
Yep.
Well, all right. Well, you guys enjoy your Super Bowls. Bill, you do anything fun for the Super Bowl?
There is an outside chance that I wind up at that same Super Bowl party.
Oh yeah,
that Kurt is going
show up.
To.
Let's go.
We're still waiting on word if we're hosting anyone here. So I'll find that out tomorrow. But other than that, I haven't gone to a Super Bowl party in probably 25 years. So.
If this one's anything like the others that Marcus hosted, I mean, people are interested in the game, but there's a lot of people that are just talking in the background in the kitchen, and it's just how it goes.
Right.
So my last one was the last Super Bowl party I went to was when my team won, the Green Bay Packers in 2010. That was the last one I went to, and so I'm like, I guess if I go to another one, maybe the Packers will be in it and they'll win.
Actually, I think the last one that I went to was when the Rams won.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. Do you think anyone in this country would be against having the Super Bowl on a Saturday?
No.
Although,
actually, you know what? I actually do think yes, because I have seen people in that argument say it's a Sunday game. They got to play on Sunday. And I'm just like, who fucking cares?
What do you mean it's a Sunday game?
Because they always play on Sundays.
And I think there are still a lot of people
that's the majority.
who really believe
a lot of the playoff games are on Saturdays.
Yeah,
but the majority of games are on Sundays. Is their point? And I agree with you. I think
there are plenty of games on Saturdays, Thursdays, Mondays.
There are a lot of people,
especially playoff games,
still really believe that the Monday after should be a federal holiday. And
I think
there are a lot of deluded people, and
a federal holiday is weird.
I'd rather it just be Saturday.
Yeah,
make it Saturday, an all-day party. Why not?
No kidding, right?
Right. That should be it. Just like voting should also be on a Saturday or Sunday.
Yes, I agree with that.
It would make a lot more sense to have voting day be a holiday. To be honest,
correct.
That's crazy but that will never pass because of political reasons that we won't get into.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people don't want a lot of people to vote.
Last thing that I'll say, because I forgot to mention this. I was watching, Bill, I don't know if you saw it, because I know you were watching the same game as me. I was watching the Flames and New Jersey Devils earlier. I saw a guy, it was about 4 rows off the ice. It was in New Jersey. He was wearing a Devils jersey, number 24, with Trump on the back. Listen, I'm not, if you're a Trump supporter, I'm not giving you shit, because I'm just saying, any presidential candidate on your hockey jersey, what the fuck are you doing? That is the weirdest shit.
Right.
Probably Chinese knockoff, right?
Right. If you're not
which
wearing...
would fit the bill for, a Trump jersey, right?
If you've got 24 on your jersey in New Jersey and it's not Lyle Odeline, shame on you.
I want to battle you on that. Are you sure he wasn't 25?
Ooh.
I am pretty...
You're thinking of Sean Podine, Jeff.
He didn't play for the Devils, though.
No, I'm talking the Blues. 25 for the Blues. Wasn't he 25? Or was that Rayon? Rayon was 25.
No,
Podine was 25 too, right?
He was 25. Yeah, but we're not talking about the Blues. We're talking about the Devils.
I know.
The
I'm
Devils,
thinking maybe just thinking Podine, Odeline.
You're right.
A 25
You're right, Phil.
Devils, Valeri Zelepukin.
Yes. Wow.
Take me on a puck doku any day.
These names.
Oh, man.
Awesome.
You're right, though. 24 for Lyle Line. I just looked it up. Good call. I should have never questioned you.
Should just have a show where we just rattle off vintage names, blasts from the past.
Yeah.
Because I could put this show on in the background, or any show, where they're just every 30 seconds or so they bring up, Byron Dafoe or Odeline or whoever.
You know what would be fun is if over the summer we did that. We brought up a random player and the other two people had to have some kind of anecdote or story about that person.
About them.
Ooh.
Yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah. That yeah.
That would be fun.
Doku series.
We might need to think about this. That would be a lot of fun.
Like something like the vintage riffing or something. Vintage player riff.
That would be fun. All right. We'll do that. That's a good summer show. Let's do that sometime. All right. Well, boys, we're going to wrap her up. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com and get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Mike Burgoyne from Real Brokerage Realty. Email him at strikewithmike.com today for all your home buying and selling needs. That's Mike at strikewithmike.com. That'll wrap up episode 18 of season 13 of the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Kurt Price and Bill Day, as well as the really high producer Austin, I am Jeff Bonder, and this was Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
He wasn't microdosing. Let's go Blues.
Let's go Chefs. Great googly moogly.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. A look at sport. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to number one. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues.
The Blues are on the ice tonight again. They're rough and tough and got the stuff to win. They'll always get one more, no matter what the score. They are quite a hockey team, my friend.